Hi, this is Dr. Sandra Robertson, and I am reading from my book, Childhood Scars Release from Pain to Healing. I'm going to read chapter 16, Release from Mental Imprisonment. This is to give you an overview of the information that you're going to read in the good insights and help you heal from childhood wounds or someone to whom may be experiencing childhood scars from childhood. Let's begin. There are two kinds of imprisonments. You are the jailer, or someone else is the jailer. You control both. You decide when you're ready to leave the prison because your mind controls your thoughts and your thoughts controls your actions. Being in a prison is a mindset of limitation that makes your future seems impossible. Many people cannot move past their childhood scars because of the mental prison that holds them captive. They find it challenging to let go and move forward to a life free from pain. Living with childhood scars is stressful, often frightening, and confusing because you don't know how to release yourself from this prison. A mental prison is a place that confines you against your will and denies you the freedom to live everyday life. You have lived through the pain of your childhood scars for so long that it has become your identity. Your internal beliefs influence your pain from traumatic events. You have lived with childhood scars for so many years that you have adopted to the pain. You want to live a better life than you see your friends and your family members living, but you have convinced yourself that life is painful because of the many years you have endured pain from your childhood scars. You feel you are not worthy of a better life. You were born to suffer, so you continue to suffer. Your mind becomes the jailer and the thing that imprisons you and causes you to stay in a mindset of hopelessness. You have tried and you have lived for many years in a mental prison controlled by you. You hold the key to escape, to break free out of an unlocked door. But you are afraid to leave in fear of the unknown. A mental world you have suffered for years has become your haven. Although you experience extreme pain, you still find comfort. Many painful years experience the pain of childhood scars is not hard to forget, and yet you have not found a solution. So you continue to retreat daily into a mental world that you see no joy. You feel unlovable, so you often find yourself in relationships of no value. It is easy to stay in the relationship because you think you are not valuable. Some of us feel like we are living in a prison where your freedom to come and go without a guard to lock the doors. But in your mind, we confine ourselves to the location. We can leave anytime, but we don't know where to go. We are afraid to ask for help because others will know we don't have it all together. What is having it all together? It should mean that you are living a life free of pain and suffering. Wherever you live, there's freedom. So living in the mind. I can relate to the imprisonment of the mind because I realize I spent a lot of time reacting to others' abusive words and the childhood scars that they created. I knew it was time to get up and start healing and living. Coming out of this selfish state of mind, focusing on the abusive behaviors of others, being captivated by emotions and feelings, and refusing to leave. I knew I had to start the healing process by believing it could be done and shutting down any voices that made noises contrary to what I felt to be true. I realized that until I resolved my childhood scars, I stayed in a self defeat imprisonment of my own, controlled by the voices, the prisons of my mind that continuously kept me stuck in a stagnant mindset. And the more I internalized my traumatic experience, the more painful the pain of my childhood scars became. As the trauma increased, it is harder to live in the present rather than in the past. We disassociate to the point where we no longer identify with ourselves and lose our feelings about ourselves and others. Living in a traumatic world is like constantly being triggered in a mental world. So, how do I leave this mental imprisonment? Leaving the prison of your mind is not as simple as one may think. Living outside of a mindset free from pain may cause psychological challenges, leading to devastating outcomes, family drama, relationship issues, and instability. In some ways, your inability to function in the real world has already affected your family. You have imprisoned them with your dysfunctional mindset. Your assumptions and expectations of how your family treats you are ideological perspective of an ideal family congregated in your mind. You finally realize that your mental imprisonment has dictated your actions through in thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. And the traumatic events you experience have been ingrained into your mind. And unless you take steps to heal those scars, your thoughts will unconsciously control you daily. The problem with living in your mind, you create your world. A world that consists of your thoughts, a mindset of false reality, and an erroneous perception of how you envision the world should be. A world without a support system because you trust no one that lives in a world different from yours. So, how do I escape out of the mental imprison? Then one day, you decide to escape the mental imprisonment that has taken so many years from you. You start your journey to escape only to experience an epic search underway. As you get closer to your breakthrough, your mind tells you that you will not make it. Reality sets in, and this is the only world you have known. So you surrender and spend more years in prison by your childhood scars, but now your symptoms worsen. For those brief moments of freedom when you went outside of the prison, you noticed that you were stronger than you imagined. The air was cleaner. The noises in your mind were quieter. And you challenge yourself to pursue another life path for the first time. You begin to look back at the prison you ran away from only to let your mind control you again, begging you to return. You begin to hear loud noises reminding you of all the trauma you have experienced. Noises from parents shouting, "You will never amount to anything." Broken relationships shout, "You're weak." Your finances start screaming, "You don't have enough money. Who is going to take care of you?" Then you stop and run back to your mental imprisonment. You notice something has changed. You feel freedom for the first time. It might have been brief, but it was enough to change your focus. You saw a new world. Now you began to take control of your mind, And notice that the mind does not control you. You control your mind. All of your efforts to escape was successful. It might have been for a short time, but it was enough to see a different world. And you begin to feel hopeful for the first time in a long time. For the first time in your life, you felt freedom from living with the shame that comes from living in a secret world where only you know what traumatic event caused the scars in your life. Afraid of what others would think of you if they knew the causes of your childhood scars. Your brief moments of freedom help you dissolve those fears. It illuminated a path to a better life that made you stronger internally, a life that separated you from a mindset of failure, a new world to explore your strengths. You saw a new, stronger you, and you liked the reflection. You began to plan another escape and intend to win this time. But you know you need some help. You're stronger, but you have let the mind control you for so long. You need help getting total control of your mind. Developing your mind is necessary as you devised your escape plan. Last time you had no plan. How could you? Determined to escape this time successfully, you design a plan. Previously, you had not prepared for an escape from your mental prison. As you sought ways to gain control of your mind, you discovered that 95% of your subconscious mind controls your life, and 5% runs in your conscious mind. You realize that your childhood scars have been ingrained in your mind, and you have unconsciously allowed those scars to control your thoughts daily. You realize that you are an adult now and have survived your traumatic experiences to survive them. You realize that you had to be in control. So, what's holding you in a mental prison? With this newfound information, you notice a change in how you view life. You have a choice now to let the trauma experiences continue to control you, or you decide to get up, make a better life for yourself, the power to live a better life in your control in whatever way you choose. You now go through the prison door that had been open for years. The mental prison ceased to exist now. There are no limits to what you can accomplish, and you are in control of your life. For the first time, you woke up with no pain. You released the traumatic events that caused the childhood scars, and without the pain, you noticed that the memory of the events enlarged in your traumatic brain is not replaying the events. You know it's time, it's just a day free of this pain. But if you can control one day, you can control the rest of your life. You know what it feels like to be a survivor of a major illness. You beat the odds because most people suffer from childhood scars for a lifetime. You know that there are no limits to what you can accomplish. You have begun the healing process, and you understand that you were in control all along. All you had to do was to believe in yourself. With a sigh of relief, you are looking forward to a better future. The mental prison was a false life, a false reality. It led you to believe it was in control, but you plan to fight it daily to maintain this healthy mindset and trust yourself to do whatever it takes to live a healthy life. And guess what? I believe you can do it. Trust the process, and the stronger you. Be blessed.